Hey, what's up? One second. Make sure this is working. That's on. That appears to be on. Alright, alright, alright. Can you hear me? Just doing a little sound checky. Yeah, I can see it. It's going. Alright, good. Sup, Joseph? So, we're gonna work on this Psychonauts 2 cover for Megavisions issue 2. Oh, I got my blobby done. Here. So, this is what I like to do off screen, like figure out my composition and blob things in with silhouettes before I get going. I'm gonna draw that guy in the background. I just to get the point across. I just dropped in a screenshot because I don't feel like dealing with it. I do want to jump really quick back to the Bane thing I was working on, just for those that joined me the last time. Um, so I don't know which one this is. If it's Rev 5 or 4. Last time I was on the Bane, I canceled the stream. I was like, "Hey, I'm out of here. I'm gonna work on this." But there it is. So I took and redid his skin tones. They were a little too orangey. I was kind of figuring it for a warmer sunlight, but whatever. And then I went and added dry brush and stuff to the top of this to give it a like cell shade, but a little bit more texture. So, and I've been practicing with this, like experimenting how to do that even better. I haven't really gone there, but I got enough to like get an idea of what I want to do moving forward too, like a way of also mixing some softer blends with the textures. So this is like another like quick pass idea. So you can see here, like here's more dry brush stuff in the little hairs and stuff. So stuff that I'm going to be doing on the Power Rangers and on this Psychonauts piece. So it's how it affects. I've put all the brushes into the links above, so you can see there's a link to my brushes, and that includes I made two folders. One's a Rob Paint and a Rob Drawbox. This is what I've been drawing with. That's it. That's all the brushes right there. And this is what I've been coloring with. It's a lot of experimental stuff, some in here too. So it's a little all over, but this is it. So if you wanted to mess with it. The like I did the Boba Fett StarCraft thing with just these two brushes here, DGM Paint Chalk and Riot Airbrush. So um, the chalk stuff that I did here was a combination of like these these gouache Mary Blairs, these Blair 30 and 70 and dry. It's like a little all over. I don't quite have it worked out down to just a few yet. Um, and the stuff at the bottom is how I do backgrounds and stuff. Smoother. These are smoother blends and stuff. So whatever. So, but we're gonna do a combination of line art and artistic-y stuff, like we did here. You know, like we did here, and like we kind of did here too. All right. So we're gonna blend the two. Blend the two. So we got the three-dimensional drawing and some of that fun chalky stuff. Just to keep it all artsy. Keep it all artsy. So let's get back to it. Ah, all right. So this is my high res. I've been working at 3,500 pixels wide by whatever um, for the final lines. But to do my Ruffy lines, we're gonna draw this at half resolution. So we'll go 2% and just drop it into 50. So we can focus on just getting all the construction kind of down and quickly and have less canvas space. So, and that whatever that comes out to be, what does that come out to be? How many pixels? 1750 by 2000. So, and then we'll bump it back up when we go to the next phase. So here's the cover elements, and I've picked it's going to have this teal and pink, and I'm checking this against my CMYK. This is RGB. You can see by that god-awful green right there. But that's my CMYK setting, so it will print nice, and I think that pink and teal is going to match pretty good. We're going to go ahead and lock that down and turn that off just a little bit. All right. All right, and there's the texture that we have. And this is obviously is my custom texture and little color settings and stuff. So what are we doing? Oh, we're doing construction, right? Okay, so just take this all the way down and just flatten it. And we will crop. And I'll just go ahead and save that right there. I don't know if any of you've played Psychonauts 2, but it's definitely my game of the year. Super good. All right, so, and I did back the fig back in the day. That was like 3 years ago. So let's just turn that down to, let's say, 60. That's pretty good. I just want a guide. And the perspective, I already see the perspective as a guide. Let me just go to my draw box here, and we'll grab the draw button, and we'll bump this up a bit. But if you want to see what I see, like it's something like this. Something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, right? So it's kind of like this, and it's kind of that sort of angle, right? So it's angling, it's curving to a vanishing point. So maybe it is higher up. So it's like, let's just go ahead and make a line tool and just bump that up to 8. So I sort of see it as like something like this, right? And if this were a volume, right, I'm kind of, hey, what's up, Kyle? That link still works, man. So if you ever want to jump in and chat, you can. But so let's see here. And then obviously this would be coming out this way. So, right? So it's somewhere around here, right? And then this is like, it's like bending this way, right? The perspective. I see all this. I don't need to draw it, but I'm kind of showing it for folks because I don't think they understand why it's good to practice your perspective in construction. So I see this as a perspective that's kind of wrapping around like this, right? So this is kind of going behind, right? This vanishing point to me, you know, like that's kind of the idea that I do there. And this is coming up here. And this is going like this. And I see the roof being like that. No, this is actually right here. The opening to the mouth, right? So the cool part about having this is I can design, keep all these proportions intact for the logo. So I know what will get covered up. So there's bonus stuff back there, right? The stuff hidden back here. Cruller and another figment is back there. So this would be also having this kind of like angle up. And remember, it doesn't have to. Don't line everything perfectly up. By the way, folks, like that's the problem with like perspective correcting everything is that everything lines up too much, and in life things don't all line up. So just get it about 80% there, and it will look good. I like to erase with like 70 to 80%. Da, 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 da. All right. Yeah, I like to. It's more like a kneaded eraser. All right. So, and this is again like a guide. Like, to be honest, this is actually going to like kind of come in more than bounce forward. So I probably should have been like this. So I'm mistaken. So this is going to curve inward, not the other way. So it's going this way, but it's going to cave in. So that's my bad. And so this line, right? I want you to imagine this, right? This line is coming at you, but also doing like this, in dynamically. Like it would be like look coming kind of straight at you, just like curving right above the horizon line like this. The wall, that back wall, and then this is going down across those things. So again, this is just stuff that I use as a guide to give myself, like a floor. And then we'll let all the unevenness of the actual level, we'll let the unevenness of the level play out. See? I think like this right here is a little off, this box, but I want it to line up with, let's fix that, because I want that to line up with, I want it to be hidden. So we would see this side and not so much that side. And then crawler will be looking in. Hey, what's up, Chris? We're going to be doing this for about an hour, everybody, so you know. I wish. See, I'm flattening that out a little bit more than I probably should. Again, it's 80% there, so if it's a little off, then budget. Let's just give it a little bit more and you know what? It just needs a little bit more dynamic is what it needs. And you can use that warp tool to kind of just like, I miss the old warp grid, by the way. Fucking new things. But you can use it to kind of like curve up some stuff. And we just want to make sure this line right here, here's the trick. This line needs to be curvily parallel to this line. Like that's the trick with drawing. With when you're not lining everything up, you don't have to line every fucking line up to a perspective grid. You just have to make sure the lines are parallel. So technically, this would be your third vanishing. That'd be like a third point. I mean, there's multiple points, you know, anywhere. So this one's coming way the fuck up there, and then coming down like this, right? So yeah. And then this is below the floor plane. So what I want to do is give myself a little bit more here. Like I want the ground plane to be more down there. So, and again, this is a guide. Like this isn't like the actual. Actually, that would go like this, and this would come here to that middle one. So. And then you can just mirror these sort of lines, right? So you got one there, and we can come here and just pretend mirror that. And this is how you can build a little 3D volume out of anything. You don't need a ton of shit, folks. You don't need to be. And so, let's see, the teeth here are going to be curving that way, right? And there's going to be, we can erase that. And we can go like that. And kind of have our basic intelligence. That one's a little off, but it doesn't really matter. That doesn't have to be dead center. It's really that tonsil one kind of more, or that little, whatever you call that. It's like, let's take this and duplicate. See if we can't just put that a little bit more center. Yeah, that'd be really nice if you actually, thank you. Sometimes Photoshop just does whatever the fuck it wants to do. No, I don't want to use the history brush. All right. So we have a basic volume. So that's really what I see when I'm drawing. So like, I only need like a basic crosshair to kind of like figure it out. And then I just have all my lines running back to it. Give me a second. I'm just posting this. And I'm gonna start Raz. Try to get at least Raz worked out before I get, I got like a half hour or so. In fact, if you have any questions, anyway, let me know now. I'll be back on all tonight working. It's just I had a couple extra minutes. I thought I'd stream them versus um, thought I would stream them versus just working on my own. This is really annoying me. And Alt. All right, that's better. Don't spill your coffee, Rob. Seriously. I set my phone down on top of my RGB switch and it made all my lights blink. Luckily, I'm not epileptic. Oh, that would have been really painful. All right. I don't want the eyes to be perfectly symmetrical. Hey, what's up, John? So let's take that and shrink it. I tend to draw things a little larger, especially. So we can adjust proportions as we go and make room for the accessories. We'll worry about its hat accessory. We want to get the whole body construction here before I run out of time. So neck and then. And I want to get the thinness of his arms down pretty well. What application are you using? Oh, this is Photoshop, man. I'm not doing anything special. You got Lazy Nezumi Pro on just to at 15% pressure gain, just so I don't have to press hard on the pencil. But that's it. Got this, the body bend, right? So hello from Brazil. Your shape is very awesome. Your work is oh, thank you, Franklin. Please stay safe in Brazil, man. I'm still good friends with an old ex-girlfriend. Her whole family's from Brazil, and they eat a lot of sugar. It's the first time I ever seen anyone buy a sack of sugar for coffee, but really, really great people. We're still friends. People do, right? I think it's her father because her father was old school. You know, I mean, he's like from the '60s and the '70s. First time we picked him up, he had to fly through because he didn't have a visa, so we had to fly into Tijuana from Brazil, and then we'd pick him up at the border and bring him into California. And I remember the first thing we do is get a sack of sugar. You know, he liked the raw stuff, and I was like, "All right, man, that's cool." Like, so, but yeah, just fantastic people, and I know life's been pretty tough over there the past years. So, thank you so much, and you know, you have any questions, feel free to ask. No big deal. Yeah, I'm just gonna curve it because it's just too much of a bend right there for me to fight that. He's actually got like little booties, so we'll factor that in and see if that actually works. Because sometimes it's a little much. So let's bring that in a little bit. I'm gonna give him shoelaces. I know he doesn't have shoelaces in the game, but I could care less. It's a great idea working with shapes and then adding construction afterwards. Yeah, the silhouette method. I taught it to myself growing up, but turns out it's like a pretty common technique at like if you learn like at design schools. Like, had I been smart enough to go to Pasadena College of the Arts or something like that, I would have learned it there. But I used to just use markers to create different shapes, and then I would draw over them or lightboard over them. So, so in high school and middle school, it was black sharpies, and I would lightboard using a light bright like a toy. And then in high school, I was able to get a hold of like 30%, 50% markers, right? And I would use those to create the shapes and then draw over them. Now I just do it digitally, right? But I need to draw through the objects. I have to see how everything's connected. I'm not very good at like, flat art, like winging it. So I do this at half resolution, and then when I get all the construction laid out, I'll go, I'll upres it back to 3,500 pixels by 4,000 pixels, whatever, 3,500 pixels wide, and then I'll do the final lines there. Here in Brazil, markers, yeah, they're super expensive, so you can just do it digitally, man. I'm just saying that's how I taught myself. If you got digital, use digital, man. It's way better, way better. Better, huh? 100%, 100%. They just didn't have Cintiqs in 1994, 93. You know, back then they were like $1, but now, all right. Let's turn it back down to 72. I also like to erase with a little bit of opacity, like a, so I can see the lines, the previous lines. So now I'm looking at the perspective at the way I would be looking at the drawing and kind of adjusting the construction. Because again, it's all about perception. You can be drawing perfect construction, and if it looks wrong, then it still looks wrong. It doesn't matter if it's right or not. No different than like rotoscoping, right? When things are like 100% accurate but they don't look right, it's the same deal. So I'll try to start with rotating the panel around, and then I'll rotate it back to this view and then correct it. I'm just trying to find all my center lines here, right? I just find it easier to get the center lines worked out. I'm gonna give him big chunky shoelaces. I know he doesn't have shoelaces, but I love shoelaces. Now he's not holding on to that tooth, so that's gonna be a little bit of. I probably should have moved that tangent. All right, let's take this, paste that, and then just. Oh darn it! Look at that. Paste in place, and then we can. Put that further behind. I know it's odd placement. I mean, it may just sort of look like he's trying to grab onto it. There may be not much I can do about that. That's just sometimes it happens. I'm gonna take that pinky and bring it up. I like to try to make certain fingers not go the way you normally think them to. You know, sometimes it's just more interesting to look at. And I like that shape better. Not feeling that thumb. Not feeling that thumb. Thought this was going to be an easy hand job this time, you know. But I can see that thumb wants to be a little pain on my side. We'll get it. Everything else went pretty easy. Yeah, that's cool. So we can see we got the inside shape there, and there we can just kind of carve around. The construction phase, I like to feel like I'm carving shapes more than I'm drawing lines, if that makes sense. We'll be drawing lines on the next phase. I don't want this to be completely flat. On this fingers here. Okay, so we need to work out the palms. The palms. So technically, this goes like this, and this should come out like that. right, so technically this would probably go here, which means we're out like this. And we want that to be more of an action line. So we can sort of mirror. Now I'm having flashbacks to when you drew Richie Rich. It's been a while. Same proportions. Yeah, more or less. I think I'm a better artist now than I was in the. I have to make dinner though. But I'm going to be back on in about 3 hours, folks. Let's take a look at where we got, right? Let's see if we can do if I'm happy with this before we go. So let's go to here. There's his body. Let's just quickly, I'm going to duplicate this in case I don't like what I fucking do here. So let's go transfer, let's warp. And we can just kind of, again, you can use the warp tool as compositionally to kind of just push a few of these things into the place, right? And then I think what I'm going to do here is just perspective that out a little bit, right? Make it a little bigger. Like that's pretty good. And then this hand, let's take this and let's just, what am I trying to do? I just want to give it a little bit of a boost. Hey, Mixer. Thank you so much, dude. Oh, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Ah. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I really super appreciate that. Thank you very much. That means a lot. And for hanging around since the Richie Rich days. Let's just scale that hand down just a little bit because I think it might be a little too large. Little, I mean, he has big hands and it is perspective, so. Now it definitely looks like he's not holding on to that, which I was really the most worried about. Because see, now it's going behind the thumb, so that's gone. Thank you, Mixter. I really appreciate it. Put that over. I'm going to make this an Eddie figurine from Brutal Legend. So we're going to hide that. And that's going to be hidden on the cover art. So you won't see it on the cover art, but on the full piece, you'll see it on the full piece, right? So we have this, and we have the grid, right? The grid. Oh, now I want to listen to the Daft Punk. The grid. Right, we have the grid right here. The grid. See? All right, everybody. I gotta go make the wifey dinner. I'm gonna be back on in 2 to 3 hours, somewhere between 8 and 9, probably closer to 9. And then I'll be up till 4 a.m. So if you want to hang out then, great. If not, come back again soon. I'm gonna make it. I'm trying to make it so we can do some on Saturdays. Um, yeah, I'm trying to make it so we can do things on Saturdays. So I'm working. I'm working on making that happen. So Mixer, thank you so much. Franklin, nice to meet you. John, thanks for hanging out. Chris, awesome. Kyle, as always, and Joseph. All right, and all you other bots out there. It's okay to lurk. That's how I do it. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.